Media Moguls.
Media Moguls.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Media Moguls. We're pretty excited, super stoked to have a first-time guest, Alon Goren, who's very accomplished in the space and all that he does, and we're super stoked to learn about all of the cool things that he has been doing, has been up to, and is still a part of in the crypto space. So yeah, thank you for joining us, Alon.
Thanks for having me. I'm half distracted trying to tweet that we're live with everyone. But thank you for having me, and thank you guys for also doing it an hour later than you normally do for me, because it's 7 a.m. my time. So it would have been probably pretty weird if we did it an hour ago. I'd have been like half asleep.
Yeah. Well, you know, it's funny because like Corey and I are almost 12 hours apart, almost 12 hours apart. And so like right now it's cool because it's like daylight savings time. But like in the winter, it's like 1 a.m. in the morning for me, and it's always hectic. So I totally understand about like, you know, having to wake up early and stuff. But it's nice that you offered to wake up early, but it's also nice that we're able to, you know, push it back. So that's nice.
So is it 1 a.m. for you right now?
No, it's 11 p.m. for me right now.
Oh, okay.
That's okay.
Nice. Thanks. Well, thanks for doing that. I'm excited to be here too and to hear about what you guys are doing. And
I mean, like, so let's start with this. Hi, my name is Corey. You know, this is our first time actually meeting. So, like, if you could tell us, like, literally everything. Just tell us everything.
Yeah, and it's funny because you like message people on Twitter and you interact on Twitter, and it's like maybe there's some weird thing wrong with me, or maybe it's just the sign of the times we're in. But I'm like, hey, he's my friend. We know each other. We interact on Twitter, even though we don't really. But yeah, you know, my background is as a techie, and I grew up in Southern California, and I got kind of lucky that one of my first like real jobs, but I mean like real job in tech was at MySpace.
Oh, wow.
So
what were you doing there?
What was that?
What were you doing at MySpace?
It was really funny. So these dudes who I sort of knew, actually didn't really know, but like through a friend got to meet, launched the first internet karaoke site. And this was at a time when it was actually like hard to launch a website to do something like karaoke. So like they basically built a web app, like a super custom Flash app, I think it was, that you would like watch the lyrics like you would at a karaoke bar, sing along, and then it would record you and overlay you on the karaoke track, so then you could share it on MySpace and share it on social media, which social media at the time was pretty much only MySpace.
It was MySpace. And Friendster. Who remembers that?
Yeah, there's Friendster and Bebo and all these other things, but like MySpace was like was on the chart, and those were like on here. So what was crazy is, I dive into some goofy stuff related to the tech and stuff like that, but they got acquired by MySpace very soon after the Fox acquisition. When Fox bought MySpace, one of the first things MySpace did was just start buying up all sorts of companies and products and things to beef up their stuff. And one of the companies they bought was this company called K-Solo, which was the first internet karaoke company. And they were based in New York. And the three founders moved from New York to LA, but pretty much nobody else on the team wanted to move to LA because, you know, for whatever reasons. And so I got like a call with a friend, like through a mutual friend, saying, hey, these dudes are moving to LA. I know them. Do you want to apply for a job there? I could put in a good word with these guys. And so I said, yes, I applied. And at the time I was actually working at Countrywide in the systems architecture group, pre-financial crisis, like, you know, just whatever job I could get locally. It was one of those kind of jobs. And, and so I was stoked to go to MySpace. And so then when I was at MySpace, I was managing the support and then doing product work for this group that was like essentially the first internet karaoke company. And then they turned into MySpace Karaoke. So that was my MySpace experience, and I was there actually right before the meteoric rise, and then for a little bit after the downfall was beginning. And I think I snuck out luckily at just the right time to where it still looked really, really good on my resume when I left. But it was pretty wild. I went from joining them to it being the most trafficked website on the internet. Like, I don't know, how many people in our industry realize that, having so many young people in our industry, but MySpace at a point in time was getting more traffic than Google. Like, it was crazy.
It was huge.
It was really, really huge. And so it was pretty cool to be there internally when this thing was blowing up, but also the culture of MySpace and the weird internet celebrities for the first time and stuff like that also made it really weird and really fun to be there. So that was cool. So that actually is where some of the seeds were planted in my mind for what crypto was going to become. I didn't know that's what it was at the time, but like, one crazy cool thing, I was like looking for shit to do there because my group was acquired by MySpace, and like they didn't launch the product publicly for a long time, and like the product that was acquired by MySpace was like slowly dying because they weren't really supporting it and advertising it anymore. And so I had a team of like 3 dudes who were supposed to be doing customer support for this thing that like didn't have customers anymore. And like, so we were looking for shit to do. We were building all sorts of random crap on the internet, and it was so much fun. But I joined into this one meeting one day with a group at MySpace called Open Social. Open Social was this crazy cool thing, and it was, in my mind, it was kind of ahead of its time. It was sort of this expansion of open source stuff happening right before it contracted like crazy until like, everything blew up with crypto today and everything coming back to open source. But there was this thing called Open Social, and maybe it wasn't as open source as I'm saying it right now, but what was cool about it was that, like, remember like those games like Farmville and those really basic games you could start playing on the internet back then? This is, let's say 12 years ago, 12, 13 years ago, like 2008, 2009. There were like games like Farmville, games you could start to play. I'm not talking about on your phone. This is pre-phone games, because back then, back then the most advanced smartphone was a BlackBerry. So you weren't really playing games on it yet. But like, what was cool about Open Social was that if you were a user of Friendster or Bebo or MySpace, or you were on just Google and like their like thing, you could play games, but also against all the other people on the other networks. So it was like this weird interoperability for game playing and stuff. But I remember going in there, learning about it, and then one crazy cool thing that happened back then that like was really, really a huge deal, I think, in hindsight, was that people were starting for the first time ever to buy shit in games. And I'm not talking about like you're playing World of Warcraft, you're playing some massive online, computer nerd kid game that like we might have played, or somebody like friends of ours might have played. I'm talking about like casual gamers that don't play games, like my mom's friends, random people like that are playing Farmville. And like the funny vanity metric about back then that was wild was that Farmville decided, like, they did a licensing deal with John Deere tractors. So you could buy like I don't even really remember, but you could like buy a tractor on Farmville and your farm would be farmed faster or something. That's awesome. They decided that if you pay like $1 or $2, you could get the John Deere tractor. And if you get the John Deere tractor, it's even better. And they did some licensing deal with John Deere. And that awesome. Year,
sorry,
John
guys,
Deere,
1 second. Keep saying stuff, but just don't say anything interesting for like 35 seconds. Just kidding.
All right.
I'll be right back.
Okay, so the John Deere tractors was actually the first time. So I don't even want to say that. What I'll say is that year, the vanity metric and the cool hypey thing that people at MySpace were saying was that John Deere sold more digital fake tractors on Farmville than John Deere sold real tractors in real life. And it was like mind blowing. Like it's the craziest shit ever. But I mean, one was $1 and one is like, I don't know, $100,000 to buy a real tractor, or $50,000, whatever it is. So it's not like really analogous at all. But it was it was just a crazy cool thing. And think about that to today. Now that's not that weird, right? Like almost every game is free, and then they make their money by selling digital goods in between. But like back then, you couldn't buy a song for 99 cents. Nobody was doing things like that yet, right? Like, so this was like so early in that model. I mean, people were buying songs for 99 cents, but it was like, you know, like it was like still being laughed at that there's no future in this selling songs for 99 cents.
Corey's actually a fan of this new tech show that I haven't seen yet, but just listening to that, like it's not a bad thing, but just listening to that rant reminds me of something that should be plugged in like Silicon Valley, like in that show, like all of those names that you were dropping, all of those old.
Yeah.
You know.
So yeah, I started watching Mythic Quest because we started building the Uplift, obviously, which is a metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
We still got to do Gratitudes too, which we'll do in a second here. But I could not have sort of dreamt about being in the position that I'm in now, even 6 months ago. Like it would be like that's crazy talk. But it's that show. It's fucking hilarious.
I gotta check it out. I'll check it out.
Oh,
but like,
yeah,
okay, I want to hear about the Uplift and your guys' stuff, but like really quickly, like,
yeah,
you even think like a year ago that like people talked about the metaverse and like there was some of the stuff that is today, like the very basics of some of the platforms we see today. But could you imagine anything close? Or let's say not a year ago, let's just say a year and a month and a half ago, right? Like pre-COVID, a day before we talked about COVID or lockdowns, could you imagine that the metaverse would be a thing even in 10 years?
I would have said 10 years, but like as kind of an amorphous, like, sure, Ready Player One is like, a thing that will happen, right? Because it's clear that, that's kind of where things in the technology are going to go. But yeah, like that we'd be sitting, in a space with the Uplift where, we're duct taping shit together with Minecraft to put this together with NFTs. I didn't even know what an NFT was then. Like, I think I did, but like like a crypto kitty? That's weird, right? So I wouldn't even have really been able to grok it. And then, Decentraland has I think it's $1 billion in land market cap, and Mana is like at 2 billion market cap now. And it's just like, oh, okay, like that. It's people want it, right? It makes sense.
I got to figure out. When I learned about Decentraland, I bought some Mana on like a decentralized exchange, and I was like gonna go buy some land. I don't even remember if I bought land, but I have some Mana at least, maybe land even on one of my random ETH wallets. Like I had at the time like 10 ETH wallets I was bouncing through and testing things with before I realized how to organize my shit. We got to check into that. But
I'm really glad.
The minimum price is like $6,000 now for land and they're like little 16-meter plots. You can't mine for diamonds or anything. It's terrible. Just kidding. It's they've got some really cool stuff.
I'm really glad I moved all my stuff, like, from all my random scattered ETH wallets before the price went like crazy, right? Like the transaction cost. But I think what you said to me what you said that's interesting to me is the fact that I can't believe that no one came up with the idea of like NFTs and digital gaming and being able to, put your goods that you're using in the game, that you're earning in the game, that you're making in the game back, like that ownership concept, to put them back on the blockchain. Yeah. Sell them. I can't believe it took anyone that long to come up with that idea. Maybe the blockchain needed to be there first, but as well, like we're in this weird void where I can't believe that it hasn't like taken off in the mainstream yet. And so I think like when it takes off, when this idea of metaverses takes off, because there were metaverses before blockchain, they just didn't go anywhere because they needed that blockchain to be able to be viable, in my opinion, right? Like a lot of people lost a lot of money, 10 years ago. On metaverses that were going to be the next big thing that had no, calculatory mechanism as what blockchain allows for that, to be. So, yeah, I mean, I think that question that you asked is really good. It's not when, it's if. And one morning we're going to wake up and everyone's going to be online. Like you said, like grandma's going to be plugged in online and not even know that she's like using blockchain. It's going to be crazy.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. My mom had no interest in any kind of social media, anything. She's pretty old now, right? So, but like the second she realized that she could see like pictures of her grandkids or my cousin's kids, like in Israel, like on the other side of the world, she was like a Facebook expert within like 3 days, right? Like she had an account, she had a bunch of friends, she was online. Now she's like literally like, oh, I was playing mahjong on the internet with my friend on the other side of the world, and it's like, who are you? Like she got a new laptop and she's like stoked to do this stuff. But it does happen overnight, and it just I something that I've been doing because of like a loose connection to them from about when they launched, like let's say 8 years or so ago, was I've gone to almost every one of the Boost VC demo days that have been in person. And they went from, just doing cool companies to then like only Bitcoin companies. And then at a certain point, a couple of years in, they switched to like the theme is just, they called it like sci-fi companies. And so like half the companies for a long time were like VR companies. And, going to the demo day, watching what they do and then putting on a VR headset, like it's so cool, but it felt like it was so far ahead of its time. And then like, all of a sudden cut to this last year, we've literally like gone through, like we accelerated adoption of this kind of stuff by like 5 years instantly.
I think even more. I was just talking to my wife this morning, and we got to do gratitudes here in a minute, which is a tradition, but like that, it's such an amazing point. So my wife is working at the VA. COVID happens. She basically like everybody ends up working at home who can work at home. So she's working at home the whole time. Like which was a huge lucky thing for us. I work from home too. So whatever, we can just hang out. And luckily we actually like each other. So that worked out really well. But things are starting to kind of come around a little bit. Like Miami's a little bit ahead of the curve on the vaccinations. And so, that stuff's all going fine. And so the hospital's been trying to get everybody to come back for a little bit. And she's like, fuck this shit. Like I want to work from home. I just don't need to be there. Right. And apparently there's a meeting going on this morning because they're losing people to outfits who are doing just telework. And so now like, market pressures are rebounding because they need to actually have this as a function to keep people. And like a year ago, that would have been off the radar completely. Like that, they had all the power, and that just the traditional infrastructure momentum of no, you have to come to this building to do the work things, has been blown up. And like, good riddance to office buildings because they're dumb.
Yeah, I got this condo. Like you just reminded me, I got this condo like when I was working at my last like real job before I quit to start my own company. And I remember like I remember I could work from home if I brought my laptop home from work, but like it wasn't like a normal thing. Like people didn't do it that often. So I remember like setting up like a folding table while we're painting the place and fixing it up and stuff with my laptop on it, and then making excuses to work from home, like I'm not feeling well or this or that, like just or even just telling them something about the place, and then like doing half an hour work and then running to do something and then coming back and still being totally fine, getting all my work done, and like they would have never noticed if there wasn't a cubicle 4 feet away from them that I wasn't sitting in, right? Like, but like it also just, I think like working from home also rewards the people who can get shit done and who don't need that structure also. And like, certain big companies too, like are in cities, like, as much as I love being in Southern California and I'm a bit obsessed with sort of the growing up here and things like that, I'm less and less obsessed with it over the last few years. And then LA, like if you go into downtown or if you go into San Francisco up north, the city is just shitty now. It sucks. Yeah. And like all the companies that now like let their people work from home for a year, nobody wants to go back to that crap. Like nobody wants to sit in that traffic and the homeless problems and everything else that they don't do anything about. Like, so they want to live where they want to live and work where they want to work on the internet, right? Like,
yeah. See, like we've been enjoying this so much. We've been talking for a long time about like living on a sailboat, even a small one. We don't give a shit. Like let's just ramp up the freedom that we can possibly attain or whatever, right? And now with like SpaceX, Starlink, like I keep looking at that stuff and like you're basically just going to be able to get pretty good internet literally fucking anywhere. Just slap it to the boat and you're in the middle of the ocean. I could like literally work from the middle of the Pacific which is probably going to be a little bit wavier than this, but.
Well, you're going to get better internet in the Pacific than the crappy cable companies that most people have. I because of COVID, I upgraded my home's internet to the most expensive solution that they had, and I still have problems every single day.
Us too in Miami. All right, so Alon, thank you for showing up just in our lives. Number one. Number two, thanks for showing up for the show, and we can't wait to have you back already. But what is one thing that you're grateful for? One thing we do on our show, we have these gratitude monuments all over the Uplift now. And anytime we have anybody on the show, we just get one thing you're grateful for. It could be big, could be small, it doesn't matter.
I'm reading some of the other ones. I am grateful for my friends in the metaverse.
Yeah.
But okay, so tell me, this looks like, so this is a Minecraft thing that you're on. Tell me about can you guys tell me about uplifters, or is everyone watching going to get bored because they already know?
No, we never get bored. They love it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I'm reading some of the comments, by the way, on YouTube, and I'm laughing at some of them. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, we're an uppity bunch. So Jimmy, what are you grateful for? And then we can get into the craziness.
Yeah, I'm a nostalgic kind of historian type of person a little bit. So here's my gratitude, because I didn't really know that much about you, Alon. So I'm really grateful for Alon's backstory. That's a teachable experience, and there's a lot of really cool things in there, and I really enjoyed that. Way more than I've enjoyed a lot of things. Just sitting back, relaxing, listening, which Corey knows I don't always do so well. So
I confirm.
Yeah, that was a really cool backstory, and I'm super excited to dive in deeper, with what we're going to talk about next, because you've got a really cool history. And Corey, you got to put one up too, obviously.
I'm grateful for work from home freedom, baby.
Yeah, I like that idea, Alon. So that's what you were saying before, right? And that's the thing, right? I read an article today where a lot of old school companies, they want people to they want people to go back to work because they want that comfort of what they're used to. And going back to what Corey said, I think that's really interesting, and looking at where you came from, you're in that space probably where we are as well, where we're looking at the world and how it exists and how it operates and why these people are there doing what they do when they could probably be more efficient from home. But the majority of people don't know how to do that. And that's what I love about the Minecraft is it's just building or the Minecraft metaverse that is the Uplift. It's just building this wonderful kind of community where people can feed off of each other in a good way, not in this parasitic way that often happens in the corporate business world. Politics aside, though, I think it's really cool. So yeah, Corey probably does a very much better job at explaining what the Uplift is. So I'm just going to turn it over to him and let him explain, the practice of gratitudes and how it began, because that's his thing. He does that well.
By the way, this is so cool looking.
I know, right? The sunrise is everything.
The sunrise on Minecraft. By the way, if my son knew that I was going to be doing a live stream or watching somebody play Minecraft at the same time, he'd be mad at me.
Well, there's no reason for him to be mad, because again, back to something earlier that you said about grandma and talking, or mom and talking to family members across the world. Corey comes in here with his nephew, with his family, and he does this, right? There's lots of people that we have, lots of guests on the show that we have that are building on plots in various sectors that are in here with their kids building together, right? So I'm all for it. Come on in, bring your son, and build some cool shit, because that's what the world should be. Not daddies at work, so little Joey's playing Legos by himself. It's daddy's at work, building cool stuff in the Minecraft, and you come help him.
Wait, this is what you do for a living?
Yeah, seriously, there's a lot of the basic thing that we did first when we were starting to build this out is we invited a bunch of communities from the cryptocurrency and box and NFT space to just come in and get a land grant and just start messing around and experimenting with how this stuff might work out. And most of them brought their kids in, right? Hey, I don't know how to build any of this stuff, so I'm just gonna my kids are gonna come in and do it with us. So long story short, And you can see like the 2D maps and different things where you can see all this stuff sectioned out. But we have rail plots and land plots, and people can buy them and gain permanent building rights for them with NFTs, right? And so you can buy and sell and trade those NFTs, and it automatically confers ownership rights in our system, right? Just to keep things as simple as we could. And we raised a bunch of wax for a rewards pool. So there's about 2.3 million wax in a rewards pool right now that players are going to earn just by walking around. So you're walking down the rail. These are railway plots, by the way, and you'll be earning wax just from doing that. And the cool thing is every time that you earn some wax, wherever you are, the person who owns the land is going to earn 20% as well. So it's That's basically so cool. Yeah, it's gonna be pretty good, and we're actually really close to getting that rewards plugin actually done out. What the fuck is this? I've never seen this before. Hello.
Brand new.
That happens a lot.
Brand new.
That happens a lot. And so so basically, like we're using the Minecraft system as a layer, right? It's like a 3D layer. Yeah. We've attached cryptocurrency and NFTs to it. Is it, just so I understand, so like you have a Minecraft server, but it's like programmed so that each plot of land or area of land is an NFT, or like how do you own it, or how do you control it? So so we have actually multiple servers that are going to be interlinked now, because we're working on scaling to be able to handle thousands of people within this quarter. But so Minecraft lives on those servers.
Jason, sorry, I saw the Hustle House in the chats.
Oh yes,
so, dude. If you, he's doing crazy cool NFT stuff.
Well, he's got a massive build. Hey, Hustle, give me the coordinates of your build. You got to see what they've done. It's incredible.
Yeah, and he's also doing live streams of these builds with people in the Uplift too. So like, if you're out there in the comments and you haven't been checking that out, go and subscribe to his YouTube channel, because he's doing some really cool stuff.
You know what? When I start to goof around with this and build, we might have to do a live stream so you can teach me.
That's good. We've actually got some people for that, but having Hustle and Avi would be because he actually brought a builder on to do that. So basically the NFT, like our system, watches all of the NFTs in our collection, and basically every time anybody logs in or logs out, it pings that and updates the ownership list, on our database.
And it's on wax, so that there isn't all these crazy transaction fees and stuff too.
100%. Yeah, we actually looked at building with because like Engine actually created something like this, right? But it was on Ethereum, and I just hard pass. And they're figuring it out now, hopefully. But I mean, wax just worked. We can scale. So Hustle, if you can hear me, tell me the coordinates to your plot. I'm gonna teleport down there so we can take a look at it.
And so there's a bunch of different sectors, and I think that what's interesting about it is the way that this is set up. It's set up as a metaverse, but it's also set up as an even bigger metaverse beyond what you see here, right? So I'm not really sure how much you know, but there's actually like a parent company that also is in charge of another company, which Corey collaborated on with that other company, and I've been with that other company for a long time, which is Uplift Art. And Uplift Art is like an NFT based like art, what Corey likes to call it the home team. Which is there's a reason why, right? And one of the notable things they did was they put the first full-length music video on the blockchain. And the second full-length music video on the blockchain was actually a collaboration with Corey and the founder of that company. Now, that parent company to these two companies is Legend, which we just released the details of, I guess, last week, because time flies and I don't know how long it's been. But Legend is essentially going after, the legacy corporate, like big league market. And so these videos are awesome. My Bitcoin Bull and I'm Not the Bubble. You can search them. You can find them on our homepages, uplift.art and the uplift.world. And these are running in conjunction with each other, right? So there's like NFT lines that are going out with the Uplift Art. There's a Blue Room, which is based on the art and the NFTs that have been created for those videos. And there's just this whole metaverse of all these different worlds, right? And all of these different sectors that are kind of coming together in different ways. So there's something called the Genesis, which was the first land that was created. well, not the first, but like the first sector that was created, which is a community cluster, which has all these projects that are doing great builds and creative. You can't die, you don't have to eat, and really cool stuff, right? This is that you're looking at now on the screen is the cathedral, which is kind of the old world center city, as Corey likes to call it. Built one block at a time. After the first cathedral was bombed, and it's basically the home of the gratitude, right? And there's other sectors that are up and coming. There's a survival world called Gratitude, where zombies will kill you and shoot, skeletons will shoot you, and like you can't even eat because you can't eat because you don't have ownership to that land. So you can't kill a pig unless you get to your land, and if you're at the far end of the map, like you're completely screwed. Like, how do you get there? But the cool thing about this is another mechanism to build community, right?
There's all these lands and places, people build on them, and essentially some of them are just for building beautiful, cool, hangout, metaverse stuff, and some of it can turn into almost like games, right? Like what you're saying, it's like a survival kind of game that you go.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out is beyond building, like what do you do on this? Because maybe I'm not as familiar as I should be with Minecraft, but the last few years my kids have been playing Roblox, so I know that more than I know Minecraft.
Dude, man, I'm not a gamer. I've been playing Minecraft for like 3 weeks, it seems, and like I'm already like geeked out on it. Corey can attest. I built like a giant mountain out of nothing that looks like some symbol for Tenor EOS, right?
Yeah, it was good. It was good stuff.
Corey, you're on the legend plot. Are we allowed to go underground, or are you going to get in trouble for breaking things again? Because I think that's would be really.
Oh, cool. The Led Zeppelin build. Yeah, I just wanted to check this out for shits and giggles. So yeah, people are creating NFT galleries. I'll show you one that
cool.
that I built. This is from our parent company, Legend. So it's a bit of a behemoth.
That building's epic.
But yeah, like try pointing your phone at the screen.
Let's do it. My phone was charging, but I'm good. All right, cool. Right done.
I love how you
legend.art.
Yeah.
Oh, I have an idea. Nice. Okay, cool. No, this is awesome. So you build a cool looking place. You have the QR code, so people can be looking at your NFTs on their phones while they're in Uplift and in the sort of metaverse.
Or in some
cases, the QR code looks cool.
Map, right? There's a 2D map with an overlay, and in some cases the QR code will show up on the 2D map, so you don't even have to be in the game. Right, the whole sector is like an advertising space. Yeah,
so we've got a live 2D map, so people are like building things and like throwing a giant QR code up in the sky.
How how many people have you ever had like in a? Can you do like a hang session where everybody joins in one area and like what can you do together? Like. What if we did something like we're gonna have an upcoming, like we do our events and stuff, and then we have these like random one-day events that we do, and soon we're gonna do an NFT summit. Maybe we should do like a hang session or I don't know.
So a little bit of background story for people who are in the audience. If you don't know who Alon is, Alon's been in the space for a really long time, and he's actually founded and started up with one of his partners some of the bigger or some of the really well-known blockchain summits that are happening, stateside in the U.S. And after that, you partnered with Tim Draper, and you launched this like venture fund to fund small blockchain capital businesses as well, right? So this is something that you're like quite passionate about. And they actually, we had a roundtable where they did an art one, in, was it Crypto Voxels or Decentraland? One of the two, and it turned out like it was okay, but like we were just sitting here on this roundtable the whole time with our founder of the Uplift Art and me and Corey and all of these great artists who are primarily now operating in the wax of the USIO space. And we were thinking about this, and it's like this is where the Uplift is going to shine, right? The Uplift world is going to shine because I'll be 100% honest, like there's only one bottleneck that I can see in the Uplift right now. Like, of course, every startup has issues, but the only bottleneck that I can see is that you need a third-party service to actually be able to have vocal conversations, right?
Yeah,
that's the only thing that it does.
I think we're gonna work on that. So yeah, I saw your face when I popped these up, Alon.
No, it's cool because all of a sudden you went from it's cool to go from that, from the Minecraft world, right?
Yeah.
To seeing art, right? To seeing like the normal art, right? Like the kind of art you would see on Wax or on Rarible or whatever. So all of a sudden, you can have galleries like you're saying, like Jason, using him as an example, or Hustle, right? We use him as an example. He builds a cool area on Uplift. You go into one of his places, you can see some of the cool art that he has. Is there a way to like link out to, that's what we use as QR codes, I guess, right? When you go to the Wax Marketplace.
Yeah, we're working on a few different ways to reach out into the world from the metaverse. And like among them, we're gonna have some API support. One of the first things we're gonna do is launch a bunch of player actions on chain. So we've already figured it out so that we can do like punch sign, get thing in the game, right? So you can have like little wooden signs or whatever, and you can say, hey, punch this for an NFT, and that will basically punch out to a website right now. And so we got blockchain devs that are basically gonna create account variable things, but we're gonna send that out to the blockchain so that anyone can do that from any plot. Like Alien Worlds could do it from theirs. If you had an NFT, you could set up to do that, or even a cryptocurrency kind of thing, right? Because we've got we're gonna have about 75 billion Aether in 6 months from our planet that's going to be in as rewards, 2 million Wax or whatever. But we're going to set it up so that every project in the cryptocurrency or blockchain space can use that as a distribution channel for literally anything that they have, randomly or directly.
Yeah, like what I'm thinking is like is every Uplift account tied to a specific Wax wallet?
Yes.
So how cool would it be? Like we did a thing with it's different, and I don't think it's competitive. I think it's actually like more like a thing that would be a cool like synergistic connection. But we are working with Superworld now, and they do like an NFT for every real plot of land in the real world. So like
cool.
So like for me, what's cool about it is like there's like a different kind of emotional connection. In this world, I have this emotional connection to this art, this cool thing that I built. In Superworld, you have like a connection because like, oh, that's my parents' house I just bought. Like,
right, that's interesting. Yeah.
Or that's the hiking trail I grew up on. So I thought, how cool would it be to like have an airdrop kind of NFT thing where it's like the first 10 people who physically climb to the top of the mountain near my house will get this NFT that is waiting for them there. In here, I could imagine doing some kind of NFT airdrop where if you go into Hustle's palace and you find like almost like a scavenger hunt, but if you go find the banana in the corner of the palace, and if you pick it up or click on it, the first 10 people who do that get this limited edition NFT. Like the gamification and stuff you could do here would be so much fun.
Yeah, but that's going to happen. So the Cathedral 2.0, which is one the I think it was the second place that we flew into. There's a sign at the top.
Cool dome.
Yeah. I built that in survival and died a bunch of times. Like most people that do domes like that just like schema them in or whatever, and I didn't know that at the time, so I was just like one at a time. But yeah, there's a sign at the top that says punch sign. And get an NFT, and I'm gonna have an NFT that because there's like a secret way to climb up to the top of the dome. Like even if you're not flying, you can actually climb up there with some like secret ladders and shit. Because I'm a nerd, and so I want to have it so that and they'll be infinite. Like you go up there and you punch a sign, and you get an NFT that says I climbed to the top of Cathedral 2.0, and all I got was this stupid NFT T-shirt, just for fun, right? But that times any project at any time for anything. Right. Yeah. That's what we're the low hanging fruit that we're working towards now. All right. So we're at Hustle's plot right now.
So we had a break the server event where we had a bunch of people come in and take selfies. And one of the cool promo things that happened in the Uplift world that day was on certain people's plots, there were QR codes. And if you scan that QR code and you were the first one to scan it, then it took you to Atomic Hub and you awarded the NFTs and the claim link, right? So these kind of gamification things like you're talking about, like it's okay. I've said this before multiple times, but it's interesting when you see things like art, music, and gaming all collide in the blockchain-oriented space. But yeah, go ahead, because this is the Hustle House, and this is what we're all here to see.
I haven't seen half of this stuff.
I know, because it's exponential in its growth. Like it really is. You saw it yesterday, but
all sorts of crazy shit in there.
Is there like a sunrise and sunset, or do you kind of choose what kind of vibe you have?
Yeah, there is. I can God mode the sunrise, which is why it happens a lot. The first time I actually joined Hustle for a stream, and I built this bridge out to the rail for him and put this picture up there. We were having a blast. And since then, Avi has come in and changed it all to make it 10 times cooler. So good job, Avi.
We gotta come up with something. Oh, that heart is red. That's cool. Yeah.
So this is the thing too. Like, and there's a group of ladies that own a bunch of rail, and that's like it's effectively like a promenade, right? You can build whatever you want in the middle.
Yeah.
And they put a bunch of houses that are about this size, and like you can come in and make the floor a little bit higher, but do like picture with QR code, like do an NFT gallery in a tiny house if you want to, right? And so there's a lot of people that are planning, like we're building at scale, but you could get like a little 50 by 50 rail plot, but build from the bedrock all the way up to the top of the sky and have essentially a giant building. And people are talking about like leasing deals for floors and all sorts of crazy shit.
That's cool. And then no, it's such a it looks like so much fun. It's I like that it's experimenting with wax and stuff like that and other chains. A couple months ago, Stash kept giving me crap, Crypto Stash. You guys got to know him for sure.
Yeah.
And he was giving me crap that we haven't played around much with wax. And he did a whole like hour-long tutorial with my son, poopoo.eth, on how he should mint his next collection on wax. And he's still like pending. I think school got in the way and little kid distractions, but we're still planning on doing some stuff on wax. So it's going to be pretty awesome to play around with this, because he's he knows his shit when it comes to Minecraft.
Right.
And here's the thing with this as well is like I think like again, my caveat is unless it's on the website, it's not true. But one of the other ideas that we've been pondering, playing around with, is like
he says caveat wrong every single. Like last time it was like cadaver.
Well, I mean, it's just
no, you have at her. It's part of your charm.
Yeah, thanks. So anyway, like one of the ideas that we're playing around with is like, why couldn't you, going back to what you were saying before, have like a 1 day or 1 week conference whereby you buy an NFT, you purchase an NFT, and with that NFT gives you entry into a certain part of the realm or into a certain part of the world, right? And I mean, if you look at like things like, what's happening now with the world and what is happening now with the world isn't going to go away, even if all this other stuff goes away, because it's built into our culture now to be looking out and be more broad and looking at other places and things. So like all of a sudden, Corey, for example, I think, tomorrow or the day after, he's going to be attending the Miami, conference with a good friend of ours, Ken Bozak, right? Well, I'm in Japan. I can't go there. But imagine if that conference was online, or if there was like a real life representation of that conference online, then, people could be there in person and people could be there in value. And I think that's something that you probably see value in itself, right? So, I mean, I think we would love someone like you who has that experience in the space in developing and building out these Bitcoin conferences and understanding what people want and what people need. Also understanding like the real life ability to be able to connect people in real time, in real space, but at the same time, understanding the value of NFTs in space. Like this would be an awesome match for you if I just, can throw you under the bus and say like, we'd love for you to do something like that in this world.
Yeah, no, Alon, like, I mean, I think we talked about it before, but you have a land grant if you want it in the gratitude map. It's a survival map, which makes it more interesting and more fun.
Well, I'm totally in. I would love to. And what I think is cool is like, I don't know, with online conferences, because we've had to do them for the last year, like there's stuff that makes them not as good as like real life conferences, but there's so many cool epic things that make it better, right? And then like there is this idea, right, of like, you know, we do conference, like we're doing this live stream, right? There's people on YouTube who are having a conversation with us, and we're having a conversation, but like my thoughts are like, let's say we do the real basic normal. This is so cool when you see it from up above. It's so like ADD distracting.
I know. Sorry.
It's all good.
Sorry. This, I don't know if you've heard of Boyd before. They're worth checking out in their own right. Boyd.app is on EOS, and they came in relatively early and started building this. And of course, like it's a distributed computer, right? So you know, this is a distributed computer, QR code, yada yada yada. But yeah, they were the first ones that started building at this scale and making us all look like fucking idiots. Like just like it's completely, it's just they've done. And we actually hired Gary who built this. He's like our lead builder in house now, just because cool. It's just bananas.
Yeah.
Anyway, you were saying.
Oh, so what I was saying. Right. Oh, Jimmy, what were you saying? Sorry.
No, go ahead. Sorry, Alon.
Oh, I was just saying with the conferences, you know, one cool thing is people can come from around the world, but like I think of it with the virtual conferences, but I think of it like kind of like I thought of the original ideas of the internet stuff. Like everyone is a weirdo in their own way. Everyone has their own things that they're into, and I don't mean that at all in a negative way. I mean that in like just everyone is different, right? Like, and everyone has their own. They live in different places, but even in the places they live, they have their own different subcultures and whatever. And the internet sort of fixes that in that, like, if I want to hang out with other nerds, I'm wearing, you know, my Dr. Strange Records shirt. And unless you're like into Southern California punk rock, you don't know what the hell that is.
Yeah.
But there are people who are into Southern California punk rock in the Philippines, like hardcore punks whose favorite band is Aggression from Oxnard, California, and like they're never going to meet the rest of that community in real life unless the internet existed. And all of a sudden, you know, 15 years ago, we're all on message boards together talking about nardcore and like whatever it is. And all of a sudden you realize like, oh, it's not just the three nerds who are my friends at my high school who are into this. It's literally like thousands of people around the world. And so when I think of like the metaverse as like its own silo in a way, like why couldn't we all have like 18 devices, or we all have like a bunch of different things open on our screen. Why couldn't we be hanging in the Hustle House on Uplift, while in the corner we see Jason on the NFT panel, you know, with you guys on YouTube, right? Or could there be a version of this eventually where YouTube embed is actually in this world?
Very likely. Like the YouTube screen, so that we can actually do gigs and events, is something we're going to be tackling this year.
So that's where my mind is like kind of like going is like not everyone's going to get a VR headset, but there's like you're not wearing a VR headset and you're participating, and like, I think that's what people need to go.
We're seeing this as like the bootstrap version. Like this is Ready Player One version 1, right?
Yeah.
And again, like a lot of the metaverses are basically doing that, right? Like what can we do with the tech that we have right now to leverage that feeling of being in a place together, and you know, really like developing the real estate game in that kind of way, right? Because of course,
but think about this, and I keep interrupting, but think about this.
Please do.
From the like we've learned with Minecraft and with Roblox and stuff like that it's also not always about just having the most insane realistic graphics. Like it's about like it's more there's other dynamics to it, and there's other things to it. And so what you've also learned back in the day with social media and things like that, like going back to the MySpace conversation, MySpace let everyone sort of let your freak flag fly and let everyone customize their websites and let automatically play music when you came to it. And I thought that was the coolest thing, because I was like, I want people to hear that aggression song I was just talking about when they come onto my profile. But 90% of people don't want to hear that song. And then and then second, what we've learned with certain things on the internet is actually having a more level playing field, having something that's more that's maybe less complicated in some ways or different. Somehow there's like this psychological like thing where I don't know if what exactly it is, but it's like, oh, I don't necessarily have to be a super highly technical expert, or I don't have to do certain things, but like it's this level playing field that then lets the individual shine, right? The fact that Facebook won over MySpace, like MySpace was more customizable, had more features, had more cool, crazy shit that you could do. But at the end of the day, people wanted that same profile. And then the things that separated us from each other were our actual personalities and were actual differences in like whatever, not my ability to, you know, customize the CSS of my page. And I think that there's something about having the more low-res graphics and things where it's like, when you say Ready Player One V1, I would think of that not even as much from like the putting on a headset and like living in this whole different world, but almost like the interactions. Like, could we add audio to this, or should audio?
I really think so. Like, proximity audio is like, and you know, the experiences that I've had in VR, that proximity audio is really interesting. It doesn't always work very well, but like it feels a little bit more real, right? And that to me, you know, watching, especially with COVID, right? I tell the story about Sue and her daughter all the time. There's a lot of stories like this, but you know, people that had never played Minecraft before at all, we invited them into the server like before it came the uplift, before we, you know, even were really like, I've been telling people about this idea for about a year and a half, but we hadn't really started on it yet. And you know, they just started building again, zero Minecraft, like they don't do it at all. And we just said, okay, this part of this land, and it's actually just, I think, east of the Cathedral 2.0. Like, this is yours. Do whatever you want. What do we do? It doesn't matter. And so they met, and they, you know, they got on Zoom, and so they could have that audio interaction or whatever, right? And they built like a giant fucking ranch. Like, you can go there now, right? Like, it's like encoded as part of our history in this place. But you know, it's that story of being able to actually connect and do things. But then it's not transitory, right? It's not like you're in there and you're playing a game and then it's gone. You know, you're writing the history of your intention in that moment into the place. That's why the gratitude monuments, I think, are something that, you know, I'm just really, really excited about, because we can go back to the beginning and like, this is what I was grateful for on day one, right? And you know, you'll be able to come back in a year and visit that, you know, our show Gratitude Shrine and say, hey, this is the first one I put on here. Like, this building got bigger, because it will, right? And it has like a really, really intense vibe. And I think that audio placeness of it, being able to be added in there is going to be really
cool. Adding that, like, hey, come peek at this while I'm doing this. Come just stand on the side. Just stand on the side and peek. This is really cool.
By all means, bring them in.
Yeah, so, but what I was going to say is you're adding like the emotional connection of that real world stuff that I was talking about to the metaverse, right? Like you're not like there is, you know, like there is this, you know, in a way, like you play video games and stuff, you're used to building and destroying, right? Like having some things that are just almost like permanent in here that will be there forever as that get built upon and stuff, but like I think adds some really cool dynamic. Something I was gonna say back before when you were talking about tickets and like things like that, and access. I don't know if you guys have seen this thing called there's this cool these guys built something called Collabland. Or not Collabland, maybe it's called Collabland, but anyway, it's nothing to do with the metaverse at all, but it's maybe I'm like now like combining things, but there's what do they call it? Anyway, you can if you connect your wallet to it, and through this tool that they built, you actually can allow access to a Telegram chat, or allow access to a Discord server based on if you're holding a particular token or a certain number of tokens. So like, for example, we did a campaign for LA Blockchain Summit where if you participated in any way, it was with the meme community when they just launched, because we were friends with Jordan for a long time. And what they did is, if you have the most basic, easiest to get NFT, this was on ETH, of course, a while ago, you can go into a private Telegram chat only for the holders of that NFT. Or that's like, cool. My son did something like that with the poopoo.eth membership cards. If you have a poopoo.eth membership card, you can get access to this one Telegram room. But we don't, he doesn't do it much, so it's like, it's sort of dead right now. But the imagine like in a future version of this, like there might be a certain gallery or a certain place where only if you hold a certain NFT can you get in, or something like that, like a version of the collab land but in the metaverse. But like you can access everything else, but it's like, unless you have the Alon key NFT that I've given every single person who's a subscriber to my newsletter, I don't know, you can't get into Alon's NFT vault, like, I don't know, like gallery.
Yeah, no, and so seriously, we're gonna, like, that's coming very soon, right? So that's something we're absolutely gonna do. One of the first things we did was, when we were testing things out, we had the people in the early community built like we call it a Burning Man, because apparently if you say Burning Man, they get really upset. Anyway, a giant humanoid figure that is for sure female, that was rigged to burn, right? And so our buddy Russ, rigged a button that was like across a little valley. And again, you can still go to this day and check this out. And we sold that area as an NFT. And the only person who could get in to that area to press the button to light the thing on fire had to hold the NFT, right?
Oh, see,
and so we auctioned that off for charity, made $5,000. That was like the first time that we sort of did that, and we were like, "Oh shit, this is good." Like,
well, and now that NFT has some history too, right? So like that person gets to keep that NFT,
and they still own the land.
Yeah,
and the history of
burning still. Which is kind of fun.
So is there a marketplace? Like, so tell me, like, if I am one of the people watching, right, and I don't get a land grant or whatever, but I just am like one of the people watching, how do I buy land? How do I start? What do I do?
Yeah. So there's a couple of things that I think that we need to just stop and note. I'm going to be the party pooper here, but like, so two things, right? Thing number one is, like, for people who might not be aware, this is only Minecraft Java. So you have to have a Minecraft Java account, right? Like, you can't just go in on Minecraft Xbox, which is relevant.
Minecraft what account?
Java Edition.
Right? You need the Java Edition account to be able to.
Oh, okay. So the web, like on the web version, like on your computer version.
Corey, yes, maybe.
So we can't use the Minecraft on our iPad or on my phone. I got to use the one on my computer.
Right. Correct. Okay. Yes. And so the second thing that I want to say as well, I think we're a little bit past that, but I still want to tie this in because it might be something that you might not know, is every Sunday at, I believe, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, there's a gratitude service where the original members used to do this before it was even thought of that it was going to be on the blockchain, and they come into that dome structure that you saw before, and they interact with the audience, but as well, they put their gratitudes up on those monuments, right? And so Corey kind of alluded to this before about, like, this is a time and place where these things mattered, right? And it could be something as simple as, like, I'm grateful for coffee, or it could be something as in depth about, like, something that's happening with your family, or the times and places. So this is kind of what the world is revolving around. So going back to, like, your idea of what you were saying about, like, making this a place for people to gather and people to, understand, and people to communicate and people to connect, like, that's kind of built into the system. If I put my salesman hat on, and I'm not even trying to be a salesman, but, like, I got sold on this, right? Like Corey and Blue talk about this a lot. Like, they've got this idea of, like, gratitude as a practice to be able to enable, like, almost a higher level of thinking. and like I'm like kind of buying into it in a way. Like I like and it's funny because like it's
meeting on a Sunday morning and talking about what you're grateful for and joining a service doesn't sound like anything familiar at all, or like religion at all, right? This is like taking it to a whole different level, which is pretty rad.
Yeah, that was totally the goal, man. I wanted to take everything that I could think of about organized religion and strip out everything we didn't need down to its orchestrated thing, right? So like the whole idea that we come together, on Sunday morning and express some gratitude, scientifically, very scientifically known to increase happiness, just seems like a pretty good idea. But what's been insane is like doing that as a community starts to get like really weird feedback loops that feel like they're compounding, which is really fun. Of course, my family comes all the time now. Like it's a really big deal to us, right? And that every gratitude is encoded. Like my nephew Leon is 9, right? And he comes every Sunday and he writes gratitude down. But he actually helped build the pillars that hold that dome up, right? And that's like part of our history now. And it's just, I don't know, that gets me right in the feels every time.
And his gratitudes are some of the best gratitudes on the wall.
They are. He shows up one morning and like we do a stream, and like we'd love to have you, by the way. We do a stream. Of course, everybody joins us in game, but you can actually join us on the YouTube stream as well. And he has been joining those as often as not. Of course, he's 9, right? Super excited about the whole thing. Like we're in Minecraft. Holy crap, this is amazing. So every once in a while, he'll just like his hand will shoot up. And he'll wait until like, 'cause we're going around like finding what people are going. He's just waiting like a champ. And we finally get around to him. We go, hey, we'll put a gratitude up for you. What are you grateful for this morning? He's like, I'm grateful for mistakes. And like a room full of like 9 adults, like, fuck it, we're done. Like that's like
that's it. Like,
it's like dude, show over.
You see that the once a week with your nephew. I've been in my house for over a year now with my kids doing school over the internet and stuff. It's just every day there's cool stuff like that.
Right.
My son we were goofing around with NFTs and things like that. And he pops in for like 2 weeks throughout this whole time and just like blew any NFT campaigns I've ever done out of the water, and like made more money than I made in 6 months delivering auto parts as a teenager, as like a 9-year-old. It's crazy. It's mind-blowing.
Freaking 9-year-olds.
I know.
I'm gonna throw this out here because I'm really enjoying this conversation, and I like
speaking of which, yeah, it's a good point.
50% of the time. Well, you didn't have to do that. I think we were all enjoying.
No, I've got the Tunnel Huddle dev meeting 3 minutes ago.
Okay, fair enough. But yeah, so I'm gonna throw this out here because I really, Corey and I, when we first started this channel, which like became essentially the network, which is behind this, we were just doing a weekly show. And then we decided to do a daily show. And then we decided to like bring people into the fold that we weren't interviewing, bring people in the fold that we had connections with, bring people in the fold that like, saw the world in similar ways as us, or at least one of us. And we're a part of the community, became a part of the community. And I think like, yeah, this has been an amazing chat on multiple levels. Now, I would love to see in the world, but I'm going to throw this out here. And I think it would be really fun. Corey's going to go to the blockchain conference in the next 2 days in Miami. Tomorrow. And he's going to meet a good friend of ours, Ken Bozak, at the blockchain conference. And he's just going to come on and he's just going to like, shoot the shit from the thing. But being as you're like a blockchain conference guy, and I'm assuming that you're not going to that blockchain conference in Miami. I mean,
no, Adam on our team, I think I actually got to check with him. It's last minute now. I don't know.
I mean, if you happen to be free, jump on the stream with us, and you can talk to Corey and Ken at the blockchain conference. We can be the two guys.
Message me what time you guys are doing at, and if I can make it, I'm for sure in. I love Ken. He's the first NFT I ever got was his. Nice. I bought his for $4.20.
Awesome. Hey, is it staked to Our Planet? Because he gets very, very good Our Planet rewards.
It's like 2 years old now. None of that stuff existed. It's like a basic like ERC 721.
Oh, it's on Ethereum. Oh yeah, no, it's gotta be on Wax to work. But
no.
yeah, we're gonna have to talk about our plan.
He's also somebody who told me to go to Wax early, like Stash, and I didn't. I just haven't participated on NFTs on Wax enough. So I'm gonna lean on you guys to learn a lot. It'll be fun.
And we love it. So you're here now. We love it. Like Corey, shoot me a PM of his stuff, and let's try to bring you on sometime live, because I think the four of us, 2 people sitting at home and 2 people in Miami, would be really cool. And like I would just relish that moment. I think.
Yeah, I think we'll start your collection live on the show. For real, it's super easy to do. All right, so I gotta run. You guys continue to chat if you want to. Alon, I'm really, really excited you got to hang out, and we'll do it again soon.
Thank you. Yeah, it's 1,000%. Thanks for inviting me and for doing it an hour later. Also, it's been really rad.
Cheers.
Yeah, cheers, man. Jimmy, I've also got to sneak off in a minute, but like this stuff is so much fun. I know we spent a bunch of time talking about it also. Like, I'd love to learn more, and I'm looking at the chats going on. It sounds like the community is growing. So let me know. I'll jump in as soon as this afternoon with my kids and start goofing around with stuff. They'll have to teach me all the Minecraft commands again and stuff, because I haven't played for a long time since I played on my iPad.
So actually, the server, you need a special login, and you'll need special permissions. But I think if as Corey mentioned, we're onboarding various communities that meet our standards, and I think there's a community plot for you in Survival Land. And Survival Land is nuts. It's crazy. You're gonna have to do everything in survival. But I mean, if you have kids who play Minecraft, then they're gonna be your teachers, right? And so I think that would be really cool. So yeah, I touch base with me, in an email and in Telegram, and let's figure some stuff out, because I think the value, we got to wrap this up in 2 or 3 minutes, which is not my strong point, but just hear me out here. I think the value that you bring to the space right now is really amazing in all things. You reference Ken Bozak and Stash, but like Ken Bozak especially, I like Stash as well, but I just recently know him. I don't know his history so well. But Ken Bozak has been a good friend of ours on the channel, and he's been here, from the beginning and looking at like what's going on. And he's one of the early adopters, one of the early crazy people, not because he's Ken Bozak, he's just crazy because he moved from Ethereum to Wax, right? And I can see that excitement in your eye. And like, I'm not saying, throw in the towel and never go back to Ethereum or never go back to Bitcoin again. That's not what we're saying.
Yeah, I mean, we've been doing a bunch of stuff. Yeah, just an FYI, we've been doing a bunch of stuff on the Tezos network, because their community is growing. It's a lot of fun, and there isn't that the gas fees and all that stuff, and it's really, really fun. So people wanting to learn about NFTs on Tezos, we're working with a company called Calamint on Tezos, Calamint with a K, and that's pretty radical. But this is something totally different. I literally I need to set up a new Wax wallet and everything, because I set one up with my son that we've used. But I just connected one using their the automatic thing where you can create one with a Google account. So I just use the normal email address Google account, and I have a Wax wallet now. Is this the wallet address, by the way, with the .wham at the end?
Yeah, so when you use the Google Wallets, generally it will be .wham. There's other addresses that can be like your Ethereum wallet address that are customizable according to whether you pay for it or whether you just have the 12-character account. But like, so that's the other thing, Alon. Like, we didn't really dive that much into all the things that you're doing. So I really hope you come back and we can get into it, because like I think it was really cool. But I'm gonna throw this out here as well, right? We started the show 1 day a week, and Corey came to me and he said, okay, well, we're doing this 1 day a week. And it was at that time called EOSIO Weekly Update. And then we started branching out, and he said, okay, people are starting to get excited. So let's do this 5 days a week. Let's do 5 tailored shows a week, which turned into like 10, which has now turned into a network. You got Brad Hudson there in the comments. He's got his own show on our channel, right?
Cool.
I mean, like you've got Uplift Greg, who's like a Minecraft whiz guy who was one of the original, guys who is now the mayor of Chicken Call, which is another sector in our game. He's doing tutorials. He's doing things, right? I'm writing. We're doing this stream. We've got Jen, who is this amazing, journalist. This is her second coming as a journalist to be able to interview people and do all of these things. Apparently, Brad has two, third weekly coming soon. Like we're building a network here. Like Corey.
Yeah.
Corey,
is there like a company that owns this? Is this like a DAO? Is this just a community thing? Like,
yeah. So this is what's kind of like this is what's kind of amazing, right? Like, so what I referenced before with the Uplift art and the Uplift world and the legend art, this is all kind of like one big conglomerate. And conglomerate sounds bad, but it didn't intend to start out that way, right? Like gratitude is the basis for the Uplift world. Uplift art is philanthropic creativity, creative philanthropy, right? That's the tagline for those guys. I mean, our goal this year for Uplift Art and Uplift World was involved. Our goal for Uplift Art was to raise $450,000 to be able to build a school in Haiti. It's April, depending upon your wax price today, we're already over that, and it's April. Right, and so like we're gonna keep going. And here's the thing, right? Like Alon, I'm gonna offer you, if you want to be a part of it, part of this network, I would love for you to come on and host some streams with us. I would love for you to set up some live streams on this channel. Along with Brad, along with Greg, along with myself, along with Corey. This is what we want to do, and like you seem like you're really excited about it. I'm excited that you're excited about it. If you haven't figured that out yet.
No, this is so much fun, and it's so cool that you have a community in there. And I think the kids, everyone is going to have fun teaching me how to play with my land in there, and I'm sure I'm gonna dive in.
Okay, well,
my address, I figured it out, is 5vbb.wham. So there we go, 5vbb.wham. I think I just created, or maybe I created it before, but I just logged in. But I haven't set it up yet. I'm gonna get some wax in there and go learn from Bozak and Jimmy and Jason, the Hustle House, and everyone else. And I'll start playing. I promise this time I really will start goofing around on wax. It's gonna be fun.
Fair enough. It's gonna be awesome. And like we'd love to have you as like a regular member of the family. So please consider that. We're gonna end the stream. Reach out to me anytime, and hopefully we'll have you on again as a guest. But if you want to bring some of your friends from over in Ethereum or over from the blockchain conferences, and you want to bring them in and you want to goof around on this channel, it's an open invitation. And anytime we'll give you the login. You can do a live stream whenever you want. It'll be great.
Cool. Yeah. I'm totally, and I think that somebody in the chat asked me, Edward, that's it. Yeah, the one that Edward posted, that's it, 5VBB. Yeah. Sorry. I can't, when we're in this stream thing, I can't put it on. That's it. Yeah. So send me goofy crap. I promise I'll never sell.
Yes, I would agree with the the Hustle House. Alon is a legend.
No way. You know what? Like Jason was around the first sort of when we moved our conferences from crypto or from crowdfunding to crypto and really went all in. Jason from the Hustle House literally was there at the conference with his camera, creating content and learning about crypto and teaching people about crypto. And this is like 3 years ago, right? And so, the roller coaster of crypto, you lose touch with people and then you come back, and all of a sudden he was back like a few months ago, getting back into it. And it's so rad to see that, because like, this space, the thing that's cool about this space and why like the metaverse and all these communities are fun is because like there's a certain percentage of people who are coming in because like it's the new hip cool thing, and they think like, oh, there's going to be a way for money to fall out of the sky. Those people go away very quickly because they realize like actually doing it right takes a lot of work. And the diehards who actually good people want to be here and participate, that's a constant, right? And then like, over time, you make all sorts of fun friends. So thanks Jason for saying that, but you're a legend.
It's funny to me because like I'm usually the one that goes on these rants, and so I like honestly like Alon, like I just really enjoyed listening to all.
Hey man, I talk a lot. So I was raised by Israelis. If I argue with people or I talk a lot, it's because I agree with them. So
I like it. Yeah, I like it, and we're looking forward to having you back. And being here on the stream, Jason of the Hustle House. We haven't had you on this channel yet, and I think that's something that we really need to do. So please get in touch with Jimmy D Kansai Crypto in the Telegram chat, and we'll bring you on for an NFT game day or something else cool. Maybe we might even bring Alon on again. And you guys,
a quick question before we sneak off. I know I keep going this, and when we both have to sign off, and it's really late at night for you. So thank you.
No, I'm totally okay.
Somebody in the YouTube comments said they sent me something. I'm, in the normal just wallet, which DApp is the best one to go to see the NFTs that I have in my wallet now?
Yeah, so are you logged in? So here's the original question then. Are you logged into allaccess.wax wallet?
No, I'm logged into the just generic wallet.wax.io, like the web wallet.
I'm not sure where you're logged in, but you should see an interface that looks like a crypto wallet, and then
the
tag that says
NFT inventory. Okay, yeah, I just click on my NFT.
Now it might not show in the NFTs because the Wax wallet, I think, might only show verified assets. There might be a checkbox there that you have to click to show unverified assets, and I'm not really sure at this point whether Shipple is verified or not. So you might have to click that box, but you should be able to see it if you go in there and you refresh the screen.
Sweet. I'm only seeing. Oh wait, what's that thing? This is so cool. Yeah, I'm seeing NFT inventory. I've got all sorts of cards now. Somebody sent me a Garbage Pail Kid.
Nice.
Simple assets. Oh, it says atomic assets or simple assets. Can I switch between the two?
Shipple.
Yeah.
Be honest.
Nothing in the simple. I see. I don't see something that says Shipple, but maybe I need to. I'll figure out some stuff. I'll goof around. Thanks everyone. I'm gonna start playing around. Feel free to hit me up on Twitter too, and yeah, I got a fortune cookie, Brad. Thank you. I'm trying to figure out what all this stuff is. It's gonna be fun.
Yeah, so we're doing tons of stuff, Alon, and it was really nice to meet you. We'll have you back on the show. We also do roundtable debates, which I think you'd be great on if you'd be kind enough to join us. I'm gonna do the karate chop. That's my way of saying goodbye to everyone in the community. I mean, if you have any questions that you don't want to air your dirty laundry on stream, I'm happy to answer those private questions. But for all of you. Cheers and thanks for tuning in. As always, we'll see you tomorrow. Not on this channel, actually. We'll see you on the Crypto Writer channel. We're going to do our round table with the Crypto Writer backdrop. We're going to go into some of the best journalists in space, some of the best writers in space. Have our good friend Sean Gallant, who throws more shade than anyone in the space on the channel, and as well Lars from EOS Detroit, who is one of the best artists that you've actually ever met, with the coolest office that we've ever had on the show, by the way. So tune in tomorrow on the Crypto Writer channel for the live roundtable. There's definitely going to be some finnies going out, and let's just say finnies are pretty hot right now. Everything in the NFT space is pretty hot right now. We'll see y'all tomorrow. You'd think if I'm going to talk that long, I'd set up the end of the broadcast so that I can do this.